Welcome to the Professional Edge. My name is Todd, tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. And we have an exciting show coming up this week. And what we're talking about is small moves and big results. When we say small moves and big results, we all know that there's no silver bullet when we are talking about tax planning. Everyone's getting their 1099s or W-2s are ready to play. And this week you're going to hear some background music. I'm out of location and therefore I'm in a lobby of a hotel. Yeah, I'm traveling during this time. Got to support that industry. So if you hear that background music, I apologize. I had to step out of the room so the individuals in the room could actually stay asleep. So bear with me on this one. So small moves bring big results. So if we add up a whole bunch of small moves, they're going to generate an overall big result. Let's say, for example, that we can move the rate of return on your cash holdings from less than 0.5% in the bank to, let's say, a 5% yield. When you think about that, that is a 450% increase in your rate of return. Now, you do that on $100,000 and you move from 0.5% return, that's $500. But if you would move that to quick math on a 5%, that's $5,000. So that is $4,500. That is over $300 a month. That's closer to $400 a month. That would increase your rate of return. Now, that's making a small move in adjusting your allocation of risk. And I know a lot of our listeners here on the Professional Edge have excess cash buildup because of the uncertainty of COVID and also just uncertainty on the change in direction on what the administration was going to do. Now we know who's going to be the president for the next 4 years. We know the Senate's going to be controlled for the next 2 years. So with that in mind, now is the time to make some allocations on some things and see where you need to go to make some small moves and get some big results. So that's just one indication there. The next place we might want to look is on your portfolio. A lot of mutual funds on average have about a 1.44%, 144 basis points of an expense charge. Now, we know that even some mutual funds are over 2% on their expense ratio. So that right there, if we could reposition that fund from, let's say, a technology fund that is charging 2% management fee, not really a management fee, it's just a mutual fund operating expenses. But if we could get that down to, let's say, 1%, you have a $50,000 investment, that again is a small move to when we add up all these things are going to have a big result. So when we're looking at this and we're going forward, we just want to add up these little small moves to get that big result. So if we drop that average mutual fund operating expense of 1.44% down to 40 basis points, then we saved 1%. And if you had a $100,000 portfolio, that's going to be $1,000 per year just in the expense charge that you're not really seeing, because before they report their results, meaning your rate of return, they actually subtract out that operating expense and then report that to you on your brokerage statement. So again, doing the heavy lifting, that's what we do as estate management counselors. We analyze these mutual funds. We make sure that they're efficient, meaning their operating expenses are way below that average of 1.44%. Now, not saying that we don't pay some mutual fund expense ratios that are in excess of 1%, but the performance justifies that fee. So we look at that and we say, here's another small move to get that big result. So if this is some of the things that you're wanting to do in your portfolio, do give us a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. So we have two small moves right here, and that is basically Looking at the expense ratio within mutual funds, if we can drop your 1.44 average mutual fund expense ratio to 40 basis points, that's 1 percentage point. And if you have, let's say, $500,000 and we get some math onto this, then 1% on $500,000 is $5,000 a year. $5,000 a year is going to allow you and the missus to take a free vacation. Think about that. So just by adjusting and looking at these small moves, we're going to get some big results. Now, when you look at that result, dropping it 1% of an operating expense onto a $500,000 portfolio, then that generates that $5,000 in savings. You're paying it even though you don't realize it. So we help you realize what you're actually paying. At Estate Management Counselors, being a registered investment advisory firm, we have to act in the client's best interest at all times. So that's where we go to work for the client. The client pays us, not the funds that are purveyed, not like stockbrokers. We don't earn a commission. So we work for our clients, and we have a vested interest in reducing those mutual fund expense ratios to the lowest point possible. And then that way, the client wins. And if the client gets an extra $5,000 a year on that portfolio and they're allowed to go on vacation, then, well, you know what? It's found money. That $5,000 they would have spent or sent off to the mutual fund company is staying in their account. And it's what I call a small move, which generates big results. So again, if you're interested in evaluating how this strategy might work for you, do give us a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. So again, another small move generates big results. You have that cash that's in the bank. You've been wanting to allocate part of it. Well, we have tax time, and a lot of people are saying, well, I don't want to pay the IRS. The time to do tax planning is not 30 days prior to April 15th, like most people do. What you want to do is do your tax planning throughout the year. That's the key to that provision there on the small moves to generate big results. Because if we can, tactfully plan your tax planning during the year, then a lot of tax planning has to be done in the calendar year of the individual. So when 12/31 strikes, that tax year sort of closed, except for a couple tax planning moves. And even charitable contributions. If you make one now, it's not going to count on your 2020 return to reduce your taxes. It would count on your 2021. So one of the avenues that most people look at is, what if I contribute money to a regular IRA? Well, you're at least paying yourself first, and then from that point, then we can look and see what we need to do strategically going forward. You're making a small move. Again, you're making that contribution to your regular IRA, $6,000 or $7,000, depending on your age. And that $6,000, quick math, 20% marginal tax bracket, you're going to save about $1,200 in tax liability. If you add the state calculation, there's another 6%. So that's another $360. So you'd actually save about $1,500 in overall tax. That's with a $6,000 investment. Now, that makes absolute sense, especially for our younger listeners that want to get started investing. But the overall better strategy, you're making a small move, you're getting a big result. You put to work $6,000 and you're saving roughly $1,500 in tax. That's not a bad proposition to work on. So again, that's a small move that you can make to get this big result. Now, is it one small move that's going to generate a big result? No, it's a combination of these small results that we're going to get this big result. So taking that $6,000 contribution to a regular IRA, it's tax deductible this year, and we still have until April 15th to make this contribution. Now, being husband and wife, you can actually contribute to each one of your IRA accounts. And again, $12,000, 20% rough math on the marginal rate, you're going to save $2,400 in taxes. That's not a bad thing either. So again, that's another way that you can make this small move and add it to your other small moves and get that big result. So there we go on the tax planning, again, making that small move. But as we do some tax planning, let's think about this. You're an older individual. You have your required minimum distribution. They were suspended in 2020. Here's another small move that would generate a big result. You give to charity. Let's not give to charity from your checking account because that is all after-tax money. Let's go ahead and give to the charity part of your required minimum distribution, have that directly purveyed or transferred over to the charity of your choice, and therefore you don't have to include that in taxable income. Now you say, wait a minute, why would I do that? Because I know that I don't get a charitable contribution deduction if I make my part of my RMD, required minimum distribution, payable to the charity. Well, a lot of times now, our older clients have already paid off their house. They're living in a relatively inexpensive real estate tax scenario. So therefore, they're not itemizing their return. So the only way you can benefit from that charitable contribution deduction from your checking account is that you actually itemize that return. Yes, I know there's a little plug-in figure on the front side of the return for itemized filers, or for standard deduction filers, but we're talking about a little bit more significant charitable contributions, $5,000 plus. So with the older client, what we would want to do is just have them direct that $5,000 to their church or charity of their choice. Therefore, they get to exclude that taxable income in the calculation, and therefore they get that tax benefit that their taxable income actually reduces down by that $5,000 because they didn't have to claim it in taxable income. So they would also get the benefit of the higher standard deduction that is significant, in my opinion, based on the tax law change that we're working under, and then it sunsets in 2025. Again, making a small move of $5,000 out of your RMD over to that charity, is it a silver bullet to solve all of your financial problems? The answer is no. But it's, again, one of these small moves that if we continue to do these small moves will add up into big results. And being a tax attorney, a CPA, and a certified financial planner with 20 plus years of experience, we put these three disciplines to work for our clients at estate management counselors. And if you want to start a conversation, do give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. We're going to have more coming up on making small moves to get big results. Again, my name's Todd. I'm a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner, and I appreciate you joining us here on The Professional Edge.
With today's financial markets, are you getting the personal and professional attention you and your money deserve? Clients of estate management counselors benefit from having one set of professionals advise them on their tax, estate planning, and investment advice. We call that the Professional Edge. Todd is a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. With over 15 years' experience, he welcomes the opportunity to assist you in preparing for retirement, implement effective tax planning strategies, and to help you properly plan your estate. His radio show, The Professional Edge, is aired weekly on Sundays at 9 a.m. If you're interested in meeting with call his office at 877-654-9798. That's 877-654-9798. Do you want to feel more confident about making the right investment, tax, and estate planning decisions? Today, these decisions are more complex than ever. Have you thought about working with a professional advisor and not sure who to turn to? Not sure what qualifies one to be an advisor? Scene Todd is more than qualified as a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. Scene is with Estate Management Counselors. Estate Management Counselors operates as an independent fee-only investment advisory firm. They're dedicated to gaining a personal understanding of their clients' objectives and implementing professional counsel and advice to achieve those objectives. So take a second to talk with Scene Todd to learn how you can benefit from their multidisciplinary practice where they coordinate their clients' legal, tax, and investment strategies into one comprehensive and integrated plan to enhance and protect their clients' financial security. You can reach Estate Management Counselors and speak with Scene Todd by calling 1-877-654-9798. That's 1-877-654-9798.